Hey, what's up guys? This is Yamiga back with a new Minecraft Dungeons video. The one video that you guys have been waiting for a pretty long time probably, to show you guys how to face roll Apocalypse level 7 plus 20. How to deal with those insane enchanted mobs that just keep popping up and one-shot you all the time. Well guys, let's be honest, right off the bat, Apocalypse Plus is currently quite broken, really. I did manage though to find something that can definitely help you out to defeat those levels a lot easier, but at the same time, you should not expect something of me right now that is going to mow down all those mobs without a problem. You are going to die, and you're gonna die a lot, but I did a lot of testing in the past days, and I have something that is definitely going to help you out, so let's get right to it. Alright, so first off guys, we have the Hungry Horror Armor right here. This is one that I found power level 171 of the daily trials last week, and of course if you weren't able to get your hands on one with some really cool enchantments, then you should just take a Renegade Armor, because this is exactly the same enchantment wise. So this one also has 25% melee attack speed, 35% damage reduction, and also the plus 20% weapon damage boost aura. So on this one right here, on power level 171, I've got some pretty awesome enchantments, man. So let's have a look at these. So first off, I have Chilling. And this is, in my opinion, one of the strongest enchantments. You should definitely get your hands on any piece of armor if you can do that. So Chilling emits a blast every 2 seconds that reduces the movement and attack speed of all the nearby enemies for 1 second. And at tier 3 guys, this is minus 60% reduced speed. So right now your mobs are gonna be more than twice as slow around you, and they're gonna attack twice as slow, or well, more than twice as slow as well. So this is a huge lifesaver. This will definitely allow you to survive a lot easier in the wilderness on that maximum apocalypse difficulty. And then if you are actually getting very low on HP, we are taking the final shout as well. When your health drops below 25%, all your artifacts are used, and this is also ignoring the cooldown periods. I am actually combining this with artifacts that have a pretty long cooldown. So as you can see right here, the Hungry Horror doesn't have any cooldown reduction enchantments, because this is something that I always stress to have, guys. I always say take at least 1 or 2 of those cooldown enchantments. It's also awesome for speedrunning, but on the maximum apocalypse difficulty, you don't want to do this, because it's pretty much going to be a waste of a slot. So in order to have an epic cooldown on your artifacts, you're just gonna have your health to drop below 25%, and then they're going to pop up 24/7. You can do that every 8 seconds, guys. That is very, very strong. And then my third enchantment on this one grants a small chance to deflect incoming projectiles. And on tier 3, this is pretty much 50% deflect chance. And this is a very, very strong enchantment if you have the Dynamo enchantment on your bow. And you guys are probably thinking, what? You can't deflect with Dynamo on your bow? Well guys, that is correct. So it is, in my opinion, a little bit buggy, but at the same time, I think it's a very cool feature that Mojang actually just kept in the game. Maybe it's on purpose, maybe it's accidentally, but it matters not, guys. This is a very, very strong combo. So with deflect, we will be able to use this Feral Soul Crossbow passively. So this one has a power level of 169, Soul's critical boost, and then also +2 Soul Gathering. The cool thing is with Soul Gathering is that you can actually heal yourself if you have an Anima Conduit enchantment. And this one grants a small amount of health for each soul you absorb, +1 Soul Gathering as well. And on the maximum tier, this is 6% of your max health per soul. But the more souls, of course, you gather, the more you will heal yourself, so this is also going to work passively. And then, of course, my second enchantment on this one is the Dynamo. So this one adds damage to the next attack after rolling, but we are actually not going to use our crossbow, so we won't add extra damage. Oh, well, after rolling we will add extra damage, but we are not going to shoot our bow itself. So this will deal a lot of damage, as you can see right here. If we look at the ranged base damage of the Feral Soul Crossbow, this is already 16,000 damage. And then as third enchantment, I really didn't know what to take, guys. I could either take the power right here or the rapid fire. Since I'm not really going to use the crossbow right now, well, I think the rapid fire will be quite useless. Also, when you go for Dynamo, then you want to have one very hard hitting arrow or bolt, and then we're just gonna take the power. So there is that. Right now we have a pretty big Brew Slayer pretty much to take down bosses if we have some nice dynamo stacks. And of course also deflect those arrows passively, and we'll show that to you guys very soon. Now, on the melee weapon, this is something that I've been struggling with for a very long time. So this is also a little bit disappointing in my opinion, because right now I am back at the beginning of the game, like literally the entire beginning. So we all figured out that the Fighter's Bindings were a very awesome, very strong pick to take down big packs of mobs and also have an extra little bit of tankiness against bosses with Radiance, because since you're attacking very fast, this one has a 20% chance to spawn that healing around you, and it actually heals quite a lot if you have a lot of attack speed, for example with a death cap mushroom. Now, if we look at the swirling, this one will pretty much damage all your enemies around you with the last attack in a combo, and it will deal 24k damage, which is a lot. And once again, if you have a death cap mushroom or pretty much just fight with a Fighter's Bindings, you already have this boosts attack speed, turbo punches, so you will fight very quickly. And then last but not least, yeah, we are taking critical hit. I was searching for so many things to actually replace critical hit to make Apocalypse level 7 plus 20 a lot easier, but I ended up with critical hit, and in my opinion this is a little bit disappointing, but critical hit is also a lot of fun to play with, so let's not argue about that. So it gives you a chance to inflict critical hits dealing triple the damage, and this one also has a 20% chance to trigger, just like we have with the Radiance, but this will allow you to deal some extra damage against those very high hitting enchanted mobs and bosses, of course, on this high difficulty. But we are forced pretty much to take this critical hit, because otherwise the mobs won't die as quickly. So yeah, we could take some other enchantments. Let's show you guys something else. So we also have the weakening right here. Your attacks decrease the attack damage of all nearby enemies for 5 seconds. And I was experimenting a lot with this one. It's actually very strong, very powerful. It will allow you to be a lot stronger in survivability wise stats. But at the same time, you actually don't want to weaken your enemies that much, because then we won't be able to benefit as much of our final shout. So with weakening, of course, your enemies will deal less damage. And then, of course, also the final shout won't pop up as often. And we actually want it to trigger every 8th second, so we can have our artifacts pop up 24/7, pretty much. A second enchantment that I was looking into to replace my critical hit on the Fighter's Bindings was the stunning. Chance to temporarily stun your enemies. And when you're attacking very quickly with the turbo punches on the Fighter's Bindings, you have a 50% chance to trigger this, and it will pretty much stun lock enemies. It will go super fast. You will stun lock your enemies. They won't be able to move at all. So I just cranked this one up to the maximum tier, 50% chance to trigger. So I just equipped this Fighter's Bindings with stunning level 3, 50% chance to trigger, and let's check this out at the target dummy, guys. So when we start hitting this guy, at a certain point, these swirly things above his head will start to hover, and this permanently stuns my enemy. But sometimes, of course, they have this staggering resistance on the higher Apocalypse difficulty. So that is where your Death Cap Mushroom comes in, and then you will be able to stun lock him anyways. So literally, guys, there is no escape from the stunning right here. But at the same time, this won't add up any damage. So yes, this will have some really awesome crowd control effects. This will prevent your enemies from moving around. You can take them down, but then if they have regeneration, this one will just make your weapon lack too much damage, and then they will just keep regenerating. It will be a pain in the ass, so we're not taking stunning. Before I'm gonna talk about the artifacts, let's have one more look at the Hungry Horror right here, guys. The reason why we're taking this piece of armor is because it first of all has 35% damage reduction. This already makes up for a very awesome enchantment for the higher Apocalypse difficulties, because the damage these mobs are dealing is out of this world, man. It is insane. But then, of course, in order to heal ourselves, take down those enemy mobs a little bit faster and easier, we also have plus 25% melee attack speed and plus 20% weapon damage boost aura. I will cover some more pieces of armor that are definitely interesting to play with. They are all right here, but they all need different enchantments. So let's have a look at my artifacts. Guys, really, in my opinion, these three right here are best in slot. So you should definitely focus to get your hands on these three artifacts. You can also go for different artifacts like the Gong of Weakening and maybe something else if you want to deal more damage. I also think the Corrupted Pumpkin is currently quite interesting if you are playing with some soul enchantments on your weapons and armor. But these three right here will make you the best tank out there, and that will allow you to, of course, be more successful in Apocalypse level 7 plus 20. So our artifact choice is also a little bit based on the final shout, because every time when we drop below that 25% of HP, all the artifacts are used and ignore the cooldown periods. Because we don't have any cooldown reduction on our armor, this is very important to have. Probably the best enchantment you can get your hands on. And this brings us to a first artifact that is going to be very important. The Soul Healer. So this one will heal you every time when this final shout happens. So when you drop below 25% of HP, you will heal yourself. It doesn't matter if you haven't gathered any souls, it will always heal yourself. Of course, the more souls you have gathered, the more it will heal you, so you can use it as an active potion and as passive heal when you drop below 25%. Then the Deathcap Mushroom. This one increases your movement speed a little bit. It's actually very bad, but the attack speed is all that matters right here. The 30 seconds cooldown is insane, and that is why we want to have it pop up every 8th second when we drop below 25% with the final shout, and then also the Iron Hide Amulet. So with 25 seconds cooldown, this one also takes a very long time to recharge, but with the final shout, guys, it will be a lot easier to trigger this one. So that's all about the three artifacts, the melee range weapon and also the piece of armor. In general, I think they make up for a very strong build that can definitely beat every single level, but also has to be done very carefully. Now, if you don't have these weapons or this piece of armor, well, then there are also some other options, of course. This one was gifted to me. I think it's a very awesome option to have. Stalwart Armor is probably the tankiest armor in the game. It is not great if you want to roll because it increases your roll cooldown by 100%, but this one has also a 35% damage reduction like the Hungry Horror, but it also has a 30% chance to negate hits. So 30% of the time, guys, you won't get hit at all, which is, in my opinion, pretty damn crazy. Then also we have the potion use boosts defense. So this is pretty much the potion barrier, which I have on my hero's armor right here. Whenever you use a healing potion, you take minus 90% damage for a short duration. And this can be so strong, guys, especially if you're fighting against those mobs that have burning enchantments or maybe even the thundering. Potion barrier will be there for you. It will save your ass many more times than you can think of. And it can also work on speedrun gear, but we're going to talk about that in a second. So with the Stalwart Armor, I didn't get my hands on some really awesome enchantments, or well, two of them are really great, both the Chilling and the Deflect, which I also have on the Hungry Horror, but then a Snowball. This can also be quite interesting. Fires a snowball at a nearby enemy every few seconds, briefly stunning it. So since we are not going with any crowd control on this loadout right now, you could actually take a piece of armor that does have the Snowball enchantment. You will always stun the nearest enemies every second, of course one by one, so not all at the same time, but this could be a quite interesting enchantment if you're kiting away your enemies a little bit. Then this Wither Armor, and oh guys, this is pretty much the same. I also experimented a lot with this piece of armor, but I thought it was lacking some damage. We do have a 6% lifesteal aura right here, which is very nice. The 50% soul gathering is also cool. And then, of course, the 35% damage reduction. Essential enchantment, guys. The damage reduction is very important to have. But after a lot of testing, I think the Wither Armor just lacks too much damage or tankiness. So it is a nice hybrid. It's nice to have, but maybe with more soul enchantments, more soul artifacts, etc., it will be very viable. But for now, for me personally, the Wither Armor is not the best out there. If you find these enchantments, though, it can be nice, but not top tier. Then the Hero's Armor, still by far one of my favorites right here, guys. Health potions heal nearby allies. This is not what you want to take it for. 35% damage reduction once again, so yes. Mob targets you more. pretty much useless as well. And then a minus 40% potion cooldown. So we will be able to use our potion a lot more frequently. And in combination with the potion barrier, guys, this is a very, very strong piece of armor. Of course, if you combine it with the final shout and the chilling, you have yourself a very god tier piece of armor pretty much. If we look at some weapons right here, I think these soul fists can definitely be interesting if you're playing with a wither armor and try to max out your soul gathering enchantments on your gear, on your loadout. It will be very cool. For example, you can take thundering right here because this weapon attacks very fast, has a 30% chance to strike lightning that will damage your enemies, and this can be super cool with a high attack speed. Shockwave could also be interesting. This one a little bit more on the fighter's bindings than the soul fist, but at the same time it will still be very strong. Shockwave actually works a little bit like arrows. It will be very strong to take down your enemies from afar, but I think on the highest apocalypse difficulty they will swarm around you very fast, so you won't be able to hit them from afar anyways. Oh, and guys, actually I found a very awesome weapon at the luxury merchant. Look at this, guys, a Heartstealer of level 168. This one has weakening, critical hit, and then also the swirling enchantment. I think this one can also be quite interesting. I know it doesn't attack very quickly, but this leeches health from enemy mobs and it has a powerful pushback as well. This can make up for a very interesting build, guys. Definitely look after things like these. With weakening, it can actually work out. Weakening is currently one of the strongest enchantments out there. With fighter's bindings, I'm not sure if you want to go for it, but on these weapons, oh yes. Wow, I'm gonna regret this. I'm actually disenchanting some gear right here, but we can finally buy the Heartstealer, guys. I really want to test this bad boy. It will be great fun to play with. So weakening, critical hit, and then also the swirling. So if we actually equip these guys, oh man, we look like a badass first of all, and then of course our attacks are gonna deal a lot of damage as well. It doesn't attack very quickly. I definitely think the fighter's bindings are gonna be more interesting, but yeah. Let's give it a spin, guys. So we should go to a daily trials to go for the maximum challenge right here. I think this one, oh, maximum epic challenge. 50% of the melee mobs are replaced with skeletons. Players have the recycler enchantment. And then also 50% of the ranged mobs have multi-shot. Wow. This is gonna be a tricky one, guys, but oh guys, before we get started, I entirely forgot to mention the speedrun gear, which is currently actually still very viable on the maximum apocalypse difficulty level. So most of you guys are having some trouble with this as well, so let's talk about it for a second. I'm also going to do a speedrun. It will only take a minute or so, but I currently have 3 pieces of speedrun gear. This is actually my favorite, then the Splendid Rope and then the Ember Rope, because the Ember Rope has the burns nearby enemies effect, and this will actually trigger enemies to attack you because you are of course dealing damage to them. You will aggro them while you're even using your Ghost Cloak, which is in my opinion very annoying, and of course always hearing the burning effect is well, it's quite annoying. So instead we are taking the Verdant Rope. This one also has the plus 15% movement speed aura, so this is pretty much the hands down best speedrun piece of armor you can get your hands on right now. Of course, if you want to deal some damage, you can also take the Splendid Rope. With this one, I have Chilling, which is quite interesting. If you are speedrunning on the max apocalypse difficulty, well, those enemies are quite fast, but with Chilling you will be able to outrun them without a problem. They will also have a way lower attack speed, so this one can be super interesting. On my Ember Rope I can roll more frequently, which could be nice to steal enemy movement speed with a Tempo Theft bow, which I have. Let's see, yeah, well, this one, Burst Bowstring and Tempo Theft. This combination allows you to steal movement speed of your enemies. Maybe I should actually go with that straight away, so this will benefit. Well, 2 targets is enough, I guess. But then we also have my Verdant Rope right here, guys. And this is currently hands down my favorite, because not only this one has like the best enchantments with the maximum speed, but then I also have the potion barrier. And every time when you take this potion, you will only take 10% of the enemy damage. And the short duration is a full 9 seconds, which is insane when you're doing those speedruns, because yeah, Guys, I just have to show you this so you will be convinced. Let's get our asses to Arkhaven straight away. Let's go with the boots, with the ghost cloak, and there we go, guys. Arkhaven max apocalypse difficulty. I definitely hope for a challenge. I want some crazy enchanted guards right at the start, but no, let me just reset for a second. Alright, that's more like it, guys. Enchanted mobs right off the bat. So what we're gonna do right here is just rush straight to the gate, use our potion barrier, and start fighting them off in a corner. And as you can see, with only 10% of all the damage taken, we can take them down without a problem, and then we can move to the next objective. I also recommend you guys to roll now and then to just use your Tempo Theft Burst Bowstring combo, which will allow you, of course, to steal movement speed of your enemies and move a lot faster. Of course, if you see those enchanted mobs with Electrified, just listen to the thunder. If this actually happens, then you just can pause. If it hasn't happened for a couple seconds, then it is about to happen every single second. And this is a perfect choke point to just regain some HP if you actually lost some. And then by that time, your potion barrier should be back on cooldown. So if there is a problem after taking down this chest, you can actually just pop it straight away. So this is the perfect moment, guys. There's so many enchanted mobs, electrified, burning, all that stuff. But with the potion barrier, you will be able to get through. Right now, this is the final destination. This can also be a little bit tricky, but there are actually two options what you can do right here. So you can either just die, respawn, and take that shield, or you can, for example, use the Splendid Rope with the chilling to just kite around your enemies, and at a certain point, the gate will automatically open. Let me just take him down. Or well, I can actually just kite him like this as well, because we have a pretty decent movement speed. So we can just wait for a potion barrier to be back on cooldown, and then we can start taking down those mobs. If you do this long enough, of course, all the mobs will just stay there, but at a certain point you will be able to get through, because then the gate will automatically open. So we just killed all the enemies except for two of them right there. So right now we can just take down this guy, and look at that. We can sail away. So there you have it, guys, a speedrun on the maximum apocalypse difficulty without losing any lives. Okay, so right now, guys, it is time to go to the daily trial of the Desert Temple. I have to warn you though, this might be a very broken level. Sometimes the enchanted mobs are just so impossible to kill, but we're gonna try it anyway. So the first thing that you should definitely do when you enter one of those daily trials is get your dynamo stacks up to something like 70 to 80. This is because, I already told this in the video a little bit earlier, you will be able to one-shot your enemy mobs pretty much with the deflect. So I'm just gonna take some speedrun gear right here, Feral Soul Crossbow with the dynamo. We are actually not going to use this in the entire run, so those dynamo stacks will stay at the same level. So with enough speedrun gear, you will be able to get those stacks very quickly. Look at that, guys. We already passed 20 stacks. And the cool thing is, this doesn't only work for the skeleton arrows, but this also works, for example, for the projectiles of the necromancers. So what you're gonna do is pretty much just stand right in front of them, let them shoot you with their arrows, and then when you actually deflect it, which has a almost 50% chance, you will be able to one-shot them, which is pretty awesome, especially against mobs with crazy enchantments like Electrified. So we're currently on 80 stacks. I'm just gonna equip my Hungry Horror Armor, as well as the Soul Healer, Deathcap Mushroom, and then the Ironhide Amulet. And then, yeah, we are pretty much ready to go. Power level 170. Guys, let the party begin. So we're just gonna look for some skeletons right here. And yeah, this guy is a vanguard. They are extremely annoying. I'm just gonna take him down for a second. But these are already projectiles which we can deflect. Look at that, guys. We actually took them down with only one hit. So of course we're gonna have to use some artifacts now, because we are pretty low on HP. And while they just keep spawning. But we are also generating souls right now because of our anima conduit on our ranged weapon. So I'm just gonna stand a little bit further right here. Cool thing is also that they are very slow, all the melee mobs. And look at that. When you're standing right in the way, they will actually get one hit killed because of the deflect. So the projectile of the necromancer is pretty much taking down all his friends, which is really crazy. But of course, we don't want him to keep spawning mobs. We have to take this guy down first. So I'm just gonna let them walk a little bit further. And now we should be good to go, guys. I'm just gonna go to this guy. Use my Ironhide Amulet. And we just killed the Necromancer. Did you see that right there? We just deflected one of those projectiles and right now he is gone. And yeah, these guys, they just keep resurrecting, of course. The balance, guys. The balance of Apocalypse level 7. But seriously, that is how crazy you can go with the Dynamo stacks. And guys, I also want to quickly show you some action at the secret cow level. So what we're gonna do right here is go to Apocalypse level 7 plus 20 once again. And oh boy, these cows are gonna hit like a truck. But we will be able to deal with them without a problem. Let's check it out in a second. So we've got everything right here. Since these cows don't have any ranged attacks, we don't have to stack up the dynamo, of course. But we can just walk into action straight away. And these guys, look at that. They will hit pretty hard, but with the Ironhide Amulet, it will be less of a problem. So these are just the regular guys. They don't have any enchantments, so they will be quite easy, of course. But they are very tanky, and because of my crit, I will be able to take them down quite fast, as well as the swirling enchantment. This guy has quick deflect and chilling. Oh, it's fine. Still have a pretty decent attack speed with my fighter's bindings. Alright, so I think it is time to go to the boss, guys. I will just equip my speedrun gear once again, get to him straight away. So we're using the Verdant Robe once again with Potion Bearer, Ghost Cloak and Boots of Swiftness. And this will allow us to get to him very, very fast. I'll just keep the Feral Soul Crossbow with me, because when I roll, of course, I will be able to get those extra dynamo stacks. So yeah, you can tell with this Potion Bearer they don't deal a lot of damage, so I can get past them pretty easily. And there we have it. We are at the boss right now, but I really don't recommend them to just fight them the regular way. I would always go for a Dynamo one-shot, and that is the best to do with a Torment Quiver. So I am once again going to take my Light Feathers right here and get some stacks on this one. And then we're also going to add the Winter's Touch, because this one has a 3 arrows when charged multi-shot pretty much, and then also the Dynamo, which will deal a lot more damage. Okay, so I honestly have no idea how many stacks I should get on this one, because it's actually my first time I'm trying this. But we have the Winter's Touch right here, and then we could maybe even go for a piece of armor with range damage, but I don't think that is even necessary. We could also take the Corrupted Crossbow, multi-shot. Wow, that is gonna deal a lot of damage as well, but this guy is only level 112, so no. And then guys, we're gonna equip a Torment Quiver, and normally I should have a Gong of Weakening, but this one is also gone, so we're just gonna have it to do it with this, guys. Only a Torment Quiver, 116 stacks, no cowardice or anything like that, just 116 dynamos and a Torment Quiver. There we go. Easy peasy. And we actually got a new Gong of Weakening out of this one. That is really nice. I am pretty curious about how much damage we actually did against the boss. So let's check that out in a second, because we hardly killed any of those little cows. Oh, there we have it, guys. 71 million damage. Only 3 arrows hit, obviously. So there you have it, guys. Pretty much everything I wanted to talk about today for the Apocalypse level 7 plus 20. These are some tips that will definitely make it a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable to tackle those levels. And I have to be honest though, I am a little bit disappointed, because I was expecting much more of the Apocalypse plus. Not difficulty wise, but fun wise, because right now I am not really having so much fun with it. I was hoping for for some new builds to pop up, to break the meta a little bit. For example, I experimented a lot with the weakening enchantment, which is actually a very cool thing to have, as well as the stunning right here, but they are still not interesting enough. So we're pretty much just stuck with these fighters bindings with crit swirling radiance, just like we did right at the start of the release of the Minecraft Dungeons game. So I am waiting a little bit for some fixes right now. I am also working on our Minecraft server, the 1.16.3 Minecraft server. It will be released on Saturday, so I am very excited about that. Of course, when we get that slider to reduce the difficulty on the daily trials a little bit, it will be a lot more enjoyable, of course, to farm for those. But right now, I think they are a little bit too broken with the protection, the thorns, with the regeneration. I've seen some mobs with enchantment combos that are literally impossible to kill, or maybe take 1 or 2 lives at least to take him down. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Definitely make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed watching this video. I know it was a lot of information, but I just wanted to share everything I know right now. And yeah, I hope to see you guys very soon. Right now it is 4 AM out. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.